It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akashat Zubiri. How you doing?
Super excited because I rested. And it's 17 days to Ramadan. We're counting down.
Oh, that's true.
Yes. So I've been looking for ways to make sure that medical condition cannot stop this fast. Yes, so I got myself some healthy tea. Black tea, of course. But no, this is not my regular black tea. This is some tea that will help me settle all the insides. Nice. Like agbosha.
That's good. Good to have you. Hello, Mariam.
Hi.
You're rocking your hair today.
Yes.
How you doing?
Fine. Not easy. But anyway, I have
I love the color, though.
Yeah.
I love the color. The color is beautiful. I might copy this color.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't mind copying.
Yes.
How's the weekend?
Fine, but I'm looking forward to my book reading tomorrow. I have another book reading
nice.
tomorrow. I'll talk about it, of course, after. So this is just, I'm using the opportunity every time I talk about the book reading because I find that every time I go to a new school, it's almost like a new conversation for most children and teachers about our environment, about vultures, about the role that we all play as being interconnected species. So it's important for schools to get in touch with me. Let's talk to our children and let's educate our children.
Yeah. I was telling my kids over the weekend, after that meeting, but we had that guy that came for the environment. I was telling them, I was trying to use Lion King, that in the circle of life, there are different parts, and we're all parts of it, you know. We're just in conversation, because I learned from him that we have to just pay attention to all our environment. How you doing, Obiajulu?
I'm doing amazing, and today I
like
came with my solar panel. The last time I brought something like this, some people on Twitter said I had a very long forehead. I have solar panel, so today I'm flaunting my solar panel. And I'm proud of my solar panel.
It's your head.
So so it's my head though. It's my father's head I carried. But I'm very excited. Today is Monday. I'm starting my group accountability coaching class today. Nice. It's going to be for 30 days on WhatsApp. Students are ready. The lecturer is ready as well. Nice. So by this evening, we'll kick off the class.
I have to come and take a few tips because I plan to also start my mentoring program very soon. Okay. My book is ready.
Yes!
It's ready?
Yes!
I'm excited about it. So it's becoming the queen of Talk TV. And it's Mariah Afolabi Brown, host of Your View on TVC. I put TVC there.
Yes.
No,
but you're the host.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I put their name there. But the thing is that I'm pretty excited about this, and I hope to also launch my mentoring program on that event. Yeah, I'm hoping to plan a book launch in the next few weeks, so people will be hearing about it. And it can be a Google event. It can be very exclusive, maybe 100 people max. Just to have a small, intimate event.
So I don't offend people of Lagos.
And I can't have everybody. You know, it's just, but I like support because I can't afford to bring everybody. I'm not saying
support will come, girl.
I'm trying to do it as small as I can. If after the thing I'll come and hey, I can do another party. But right now, let me just be very careful. But I'm so grateful to God for this book. It's going to come out, you know. I'm so happy.
Congratulations!
Thank
we
God,
got two authors on the table already.
Yeah, so now I am a published author.
Oh,
So it's on.
I don't do that yet. I'll mention it eventually when it happens.
At the launch.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Tinubu's pledge to Nigerians, I will not disappoint you. Nigeria's debt hits 50 trillion naira. Parties realign ahead Saturday's governorship polls. Man 26 riding bicycle from Katsina to congratulate Tinubu in Lagos. Masha becomes US-based G24 director. Rainstorm destroys 105 houses in Ikiti community. PDP leaders to picket INEC office over poll results and obey Supreme Court judgment on Naira now, legal giant tells Buhari. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I have the major headline. So the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, yesterday returned to Lagos, and it's been reported by The Nation as returning in a blaze of glory, and that he described his certificate of return as a World Cup he has brought home. He went over to It's described as he stormed the palace of the Eleko of Lagos, Obariwan Akiolu.
Eleko of Eko.
Of Lagos as Obariwan Akiolu thanked the monarch and other community leaders for their support and prayers. He said that the Oba hugged him and wished him an eventful tenure. And we also have that in Abuja, we have Alhaji Tanko Yekasai, who is an elder statesman, is urging the PDP and also the LP to work in conjunction and support the president-elect. So the Oba says to the president-elect that he has done his best to serve Lagos, and he has served excellently, and so many other encomiums. Yes, and also he was received by the APC faithfuls at the airport when he came in.
Okay, I have a bit of reflective news. The Debt Management Office has released our debts, and we are close to 50 trillion in debt, according to the DMO, about 48-point-something trillion. Let us say 49 trillion. And according to them, our external debt has gone up as well to 18.2 trillion naira, mainly due to the depreciation of our naira against dollar. And in the last quarter, or the first 2 months of 2023, the government has also raised about 2.1 trillion, in debts to carry out certain infrastructure or expenditures in the country. And we are looking at continuous increase and servicing of the debt. But we are doing well when it comes to servicing, according to them. But where we are now is about 50 trillion. I hope that this is reflective, and we are not continuously sabotaging all the efforts of government, because what they are borrowing this money to do, we can see some, and we have internal issues against them where people are attacking infrastructure and bombing and, destroying railways and all of that.
So a rainstorm destroyed properties worth millions of naira in Okeako, Ikole local government area of Ekiti State. They said the downpour was accompanied by heavy wild wind, and that occurred Friday evening. The rainstorm destroyed over 105 residential buildings, including shops, as well as electric poles. Some of the victims said the rain lasted for over 2 hours. It started normally, then started blowing off rooftops, destroying electric pole, and then subjecting the community to total blackout. According to one of the victims, Elder Elijah, he lamented that the rainstorm destroyed his property, and he was appealing to the state government for assistance. Said it was a way when he was called that the rain had taken out his rooftop and then rendered his family homeless. So the government went ahead to inspect the level of damage yesterday. Governor Biodun Oyebanji, and he condoled with the residents, promising that they are going to assist them as much as possible, and also encouraged the landlords to make sure that they start planting trees. They are also going to set up something that will aid a lot of them to plant trees, because when we have some of these trees, it mitigates the effect of flooding.
So I have the story of the man riding a bicycle. Do you have that?
No, I don't. I think I didn't find it.
Okay,
Did you find it?
26-year-old Gaddafi Musa is a Katsina indigene, and is, according to him, decided to ride his bicycle. He started on Wednesday. He has arrived in Ilorin yesterday, down 1,227 kilometers of road to Lagos in honor of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who won the election. He said that he started on Wednesday when he showed that he was winning most states, and he decided to do this to honor him. I just hope that it doesn't end up like the one who trekked on Buhari's behalf. But, I don't know what this is for, what implication it has anyway.
Okay. All right, moving on.
I don't appreciate it like this.
To the punch. Presidential poll, PDP governors leaders to protest at INEC today. Soldiers shoot 15-year-old boy keke operator dead in Lagos. Prepare for severe flood in Nema warns Nigerians. Tinubu visits Obakiolu, promises not to disappoint Nigerians. Whitney, Lagos alleges lapses, says Christian remains short. Akpabio Kalu, others begin battle for Senate presidency. Fuel forex subsidies removal will save Nigerian 10 trillion naira, says a report. And observers demand Rex prosecution for alleged sabotage. So ahead of let me take the story on Akpabio and others. So ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June, some elected senators-elect have begun lobbying for some of the highest positions Aside from the Senate presidency, other positions like the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Deputy Senate President, as well as other principal offices. So you're going to have like the majority and minority caucuses. We're going to be looking for leaders of that. And so now there's a lot of lobbying going on because, as you know, we have about 59 senators, seats from the APC. We have 29 from the PDP. We have about 6 from the LP and 2 across other parties. And the same goes for the House of Representatives. APC has about 162. PDP has 105. LP has 34 seats. NNPP has 18 APGA. So it's a very, very, diverse. As I said, very diverse and colorful House of Representatives. So there's a lot of lobbying going on for principal positions, and we'll see how that goes. But it's good to see how democracy again is playing out.
I have a follow-up on Whitney Adediro. The Lagos State government has insisted and reiterated that the school remains shut for proper measures to be taken. That, number one is it is short so that proper investigations can go on and unhindered, and that they also want to include parents, staff, and students of the school, giving them time to grieve, according to the State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo. And she also mentioned that the Office of Education Quality Assurance in the state will be meeting with the management of the school to ascertain adherence of child safeguarding policies. This is to ensure that all other students within the school are provided the safety that they require going forward. So the school remains shut. And,
would they also be checking the field, or the stadium where it happened?
Where it happened. The attitude of the school, somebody had called me, one former principal and former staff of the Ministry of Education in Lagos called me yesterday, Oyenike, I'm trying to remember her surname, and she complained about the facility where the inter-house sport happened, that, I said, but because of the attitude of the school in denying initially, nobody has put torchlights on that facility. Wow. So she said that what they must have to provide a stadium for events like that is they must have she called it a particular thing about men who monitor the place on and on, even during the inter-house sports as well.
That's how it should be.
All right, so let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're still reviewing Punch.
Yeah.
Any story?
Yes, I have a story. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, not NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, has issued a warning of upcoming severe flooding this year, as indicated by predictions from relevant agencies. So a statement was issued by the agency, and this he disclosed at a 2-day experts technical meeting on the 2023 climate-related disaster preparedness and mitigation strategies in Abuja. And he said that they have earlier revealed in predictions that the annual flood outlook by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, and this flood disaster that happened last year is an eye-opener. However, the agency will now be spreading the warnings and messages to states very early, which they have started. I took the same story last week. Said, we've started early this year. We're ready for early warning and early action. We will bombard every citizen, state and local government with the information as we want them to know that is, know and take it very serious, and will not keep quiet because we want them to know that there will be flood this year. And they had mentioned earlier that the flood predictions is across 178 local governments in 32 states. And so people need to begin to do something about this now.
I have a story as well in the Punch. So we have the director of CPPE, which is the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, and he's disclosed that if the incoming administration should lay emphasis on moderating inflationary pressures, stabilizing exchange rates, and boosting economic growth. He said that Nigeria is going to save about 10 trillion naira annually by elimination of subsidies on PMS, that's petrol, of course, and also foreign exchange. And if CBN too was to remove the subsidy on foreign exchange, we will be able to save a lot of money It's unlock more income from revenue-generating agencies through enhanced efficiency of these operations, initiate budget reforms to ensure fiscal discipline, curb budget padding, curb duplication of projects, and review service-wide votes to ensure transparency. So this is just advice to the incoming administration on the way forward economically for our nation.
Daily Sun. U.S. opens up on February 25th polls. Enugu Guba group threatens mayhem, sponsored by politicians, says IPOB. Ayu Okowa lead black uniform protest at INEC headquarters today. Petrol scarcity returns to Abuja. Yoruba monarchs urge Tinubu to use victory for Nigerians' unity and greatness. Article to INEC chair, your promise for credible Guba elections, medicine after death. NDLA nabs Indian-bound businessman with 9.40 kg heroin at Lagos airport. G20 minister calls for Nigeria, AU inclusion. IMF World Bank reforms. Naira redesign, confusion as CBN keeps mute over the Supreme Court's ruling. So the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, arrested a businessman, Mr. Kingsley Celestino, at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. He was a 49-year-old young man on his way to India. He was carrying 9.40 kilograms of heroin concealed in false buttons of his traveling bags. According to them, he was traveling with a Guinean passport, international passport. He claimed he deals in clothing businesses and travels between Nigeria and India. It was further established that he obtained the Guinean international passport in Guinea-Bissau, where he said his mother came from. So, in the same vein, another 24-year-old man, I'm trying to get his name here, was also nabbed at the international airport, at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. He was carrying 1.94 kg of skunk concealed in cream tubes. He was also trying to travel. And, I mean, again, we've missed a bit of the NDLEA because recently, but it's good to...
Because of politics.
Yeah, politics cannot...
but they've been working, obviously.
Okay.
So our residents in Abuja are facing a fresh round of biting petrol scarcity. Said many filling stations remain shut during the weekend for lack of products to sell. The few petrol stations that were open had a lot of cars queuing several meters away from the filling station. So from Kubwa Central Business District to Garaki, Lugbe, the queues were really frightening. And said the development also made it possible for the black marketers to be selling fuel for 450 naira per litre to customers. But they said one of the reasons they have this fuel scarcity right now is because of the past presidential and National Assembly elections, because there was a sort of restriction of movement, and so tankers were not able to deliver. But NNPC is assuring Nigerians, especially people who are living in Abuja right now, that they have fuel for them. They said they have 47-day petrol sufficiency. Said 2.1 billion litres of PMS in stock is already there, 0.9 billion litres in all the land depots that will give us enough for this season. So very soon the queues will reduce when they have products.
Very quickly, moving on to Vanguard. Supreme Court ruling uncertainty as banks wait on CBN. Battle for States Presidential National Assembly polls results raise stakes for governorship and assembly elections. Over 36 killed as herders attack Benue communities. Beaver, Saturday's governorship poll might be postponed. Presidential polls failed to meet Nigeria's expectations, says U.S. envoy. Tinubu to world leaders. To those extending arm of friendship, I offer mine in return. Yakubu's promise of credible Guba polls, medicine after death, says Atiku. Certificate of return like World Cup trophy, to me, says Tinubu. Polls dispute Oshoba warns against triggering tribal and religious crisis. Okay, which story?
Headline. So, yes, on Friday, the Supreme Court ruled that, the old Naira notes and the new Naira notes must go side by side till the 31st of December this year. And so, Vanguard Digest went around town to some banks, and the banks are saying they're waiting for a CBN circular because they are not answerable to the Supreme Court. They say they are answerable to the CBN. And so they are waiting for a CBN circular to instruct them on what to go. Some banks are saying we don't even have old or new notes. some are saying, although they are all anonymously speaking in this report, some are saying we have the notes, but we are not answerable to anybody else but the CBN. Until circular comes out, nothing will happen. And financial analysts are insisting obey the Supreme Court. They're also calling on the president to instruct the CBN to obey the Supreme Court order.
I was hoping we would hear from federal government today.
In fact, that Friday evening, I kept saying to my neighbors, don't worry, this evening,
hear from
because I believe that governments respect us. I said, this evening, President Muhammadu Buhari will just address us. No, just wait.
Can you write him a letter?
In fact, I should. Why can't I?
All right, so the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, said yesterday he was ready to work with world leaders who extend an arm of friendship for him. He was actually saying that he was overwhelmed by the number of congratulatory messages he's received pouring in from world leaders. He mentioned United States, France, UK, and many other countries. And he says that they have demonstrated the important role Nigeria plays in the world. He also described it as an encouraging sign that the rest of the world was interested in the partnership with Nigeria. And he was pretty elated. He said, I deeply appreciate the congratulatory messages from all over the world. The message of goodwill and solidarity have been so overwhelming to me to mention everyone by name. So I guess that's the story. Any other story in Vanguard? Let's move on quickly. The Point. Who has a story in Point? Okay. Bankers fear fresh bashing amid CBN silence. Election controversy. No one has ever become Nigerian president through court judgment, says lawyers. Fears of voter apathy heighten ahead of governorship assembly polls. Uncovered real reasons married cop killed concubine and self-inquirer. Nigeria's cement industry battles rising operational costs because declining margins. Which one do you have, Mariam?
Yes, I have. This also a follow-up on the story I've taken about the cop that shot a lady who was supposed to have been his lover, they said. So it's an update on why he did it. They said that Michael Olalere was a married man with 2 daughters, but he was in a relationship with Oluwatosin Cecilia Bamidele, who has a daughter, and they had a relationship which friends have said was a violent one. He used to beat her and accuse her of infidelity over and over again, and they had evidence of bruises and bandages all over her over a period of time. They said on this particular day, he had accused her of, seeing someone else, and, that they thought that it looked like she was running away from him. She had quickly run to her daughter's school. That's where the gruesome murder-suicide happened. They said she went to pick up her daughter. He had been looking all around for her, saw her. He had a cutlass with him, actually, they said at first. When he saw her, he shot her 3 times in the chest, and then he puts the gun to his throat and kills himself. And to think that this is a married man, first of all, you are committing adultery on top of everything, and then
you're not feeling heartbroken.
The person wants to leave you, you still chase the person down with gun.
You're not feeling heartbroken.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune, our last paper this morning, PDP to protest as INEC direct members to dress in black. Many homeless as rainstorm blows roof off building in Ikiti. Bandits kill DPO sergeant, vigilante abduct women in Zamfara. Labour Party in Oyo adopts Makinde. Atiku to Yakubu, your promise for credible governorship polls is medicine after death. Tinubu promises not to disappoint Nigerians. February 25 presidential election failed to meet Nigerians' expectations, says U.S. ambassador. Okay, so I have the story. The Labour Party in Oyo State has declared the support for the incumbent, Governor Seyi Makinde, for Saturday's coming elections. The party chairman, Mr. Tunji Sadiq, said that the party has resolved to use its entire structure to support Governor Makinde because his ideology aligns with theirs, and they will give him the support across the 33 local governments in Oyo State. Yeah, so that's a story. Any other story in Tribune?
Yeah, so bandits Sunday morning attacked Maru police station in Maru, headquarters of Maru local government area of Zamfara State. They killed a DPO, an inspector, a vigilante, and also abducted some women in the process. So the DPO, Kazim Rahim, the police inspector, Rabiu Umar, and vigilante member were confronting the hoodlums in a gun duel when they walked into the police station, and then they got injured and died in the process. It's just a very painful story. The story has been confirmed, and investigations have been launched to go and chase out those bandits who carried out this attack. It was very funny that the DPO and the inspector did not want to run away. They were really trying to defend their station when they lost their lives. It's just painful.
Okay, that is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So last Friday, the Supreme Court nullified the ban on the use of old 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira banknotes as legal tenders. According to the reports, the old banknotes should remain valid and be legal tenders until December 31st. Now, to join the conversation on this, because many people are concerned that since Friday up until now, we're yet to hear from either the CBN or even our president reaffirming the Supreme Court's judgment. People are concerned about spending some of the Naira notes. Others have even taken all their old notes to the bank. And they are wondering if the banks will be willing to use the old Naira, continually use the old Naira notes. That's our conversation this morning. What are your thoughts on this Supreme Court ruling? And how do you think you prefer that the government's response to this? Do you think that it should allow CBN, that the CBN should defy the Supreme Court's ruling? Let's hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-3907-6948. Tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. We might be bringing a guest later on today to shed some light on this. But first, we'd like to hear Nigerians' thoughts and views on this. It's your view. Let it count. Nima, let me start your BC. We'd like to start. We haven't heard anything. I think it was you that started in the paper. Let me start with you. You were saying that you've not heard from our president. You wanted to hear from the president at least to say something concerning the Supreme Court judgment. What are your thoughts on the silence so far?
Even though I was waiting to hear from the president, and we're just discussing pedestrianly as laymen on the judgment. As usual, my business people around the house were saying, I cannot take it, I don't want problem. What did the president say? And I kept saying, it's a Supreme Court order. It's not, we don't need president. It takes enforcement immediately. And I do not see the president as someone who would abuse a Supreme Court order, even though he abused it.
I'm looking at
this is a permanent, this is a final order. This is not a ruling. This is not a temporary, an interim order. This is a final order on what should go forward. And so we'd expect that the president will be the first, since he could not even decide himself what was economic. Now, he wasn't well advised. I would say that with my bold chest, that, the present CBN governor is the worst in the history of Nigeria.
CBN governors.
He has not been the best of advisors. And so the Supreme Court, even though they agreed in that judgment that they are not interfering in any monetary policy which doesn't concern the Supreme Court, but in where it contravenes the Constitution, like where it goes against the fundamental rights of Nigerians to access and easily switch, the complexities that they added to the monetary policy at the time, reducing, limiting withdrawals, retrieving people's currencies, and refusing to, issue new ones, or not being capable to do it at the time, causing a hardship just generally on Nigerians was what the Supreme Court had to be forced to rule on. They would usually have just ruled that, preliminary objections, they do not have, jurisdiction on this area. But because of the way it was done, you gave them jurisdiction, they were compelled to then decide on behalf of the executive what should go forward. And so I'm waiting to hear from him. I expect him to be a leader and do the needful. But
now that we have a president-elect, elections have passed. President Buhari doesn't have anybody anymore. Before there's still I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not listening. What I'm saying is, how we are, our thinking. Yes, he does. It's his job to do that. But before everything is because of elections. Oh, they did this because of elections. Now the election has passed now.
We have suffered, Morayo, waiting for the election because we don't want to see people using money to buy election. Election has finished. Election has ended. We need money to do our businesses. Exactly. And I'm even reading in some of the papers that the banks themselves don't even have the old Naira notes to dispense. CBN hasn't given them the old Naira notes. One, CBN is silent on this matter too. Because what is the plan of the Central Bank of Nigeria towards Nigerians and Nigerian businesses? I think we need to start asking these questions. What is your plan? You are saying you are trying as much as possible to curb inflation, but what you are doing is causing more inflation. Yes. I took the story, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, when they gave the statistics of how inflation has risen from December last year to this point. So what exactly is your game plan? Elections have finished, or are you waiting till the governorship that's happening? Yeah. It's counterproductive. Nigerians need money to be able to move around and do their businesses. I've not been able to do some of my businesses because there's no cash. And now the Central Bank of Nigeria is acting as if it's bigger than the Supreme Court. Because who do we listen to? We need cash. Simple and short.
Yeah, let me come to you, BC. I think that's they finished the.
What is there to say? We have heard from the Supreme Court, but then we have to be realistic. This is not a country and administration that has shown that it has respect for the Supreme Court.
Yeah, true.
We already have too many examples to show, and so what we can do as Nigerians is just wait. As we know, some other states, the governors have taken it upon themselves to tell their indigents or residents to go ahead and spend their old Naira notes, and then with the incoming administration, maybe something might change. But it would really be a taint on the administration of another taint on the administration of our current president if he doesn't say anything about it. If his attitude is, well, I'm almost out, you guys handle yourselves. I think that especially now towards the end, you should be seen to be doing everything that you can to make things, right.
Transition properly.
Even though many of us complained about this monetary policy and how it was affecting our daily lives and our businesses, some people were proud of it. They felt that this was the president showing courage in the face of what we would normally be a flawed election, trying to stop vote buying and all. We had the EFCC boss who came and said that they saw an improvement when it comes to vote buying because of this policy. So finish it up now that you've had a judgment from the Supreme Court. Let us even hear what you have to say. Let's even hear if you say, you know what, Supreme Court, I don't even have your time. I'm not going to listen to you. Then Nigerians would know what to say about you.
And it's an opportunity to show leadership for Emefiele. Emefiele has really had bad press in the last few weeks. This is a really good opportunity for him to buy back his reputation. Just come back and say, based on Supreme Court's ruling, and therefore reversing the policy. What you do is that you buy some respect from regard from Nigerians who already have
his boss. So he has to go back and say,
to be humble.
No, you have to eat the
They're asking him
at some point
to come down from his high horse.
Yes.
Are you serious?
The almighty Emefiele, the one who thought that Naira and currencies were printed to be locked up in vaults and shouldn't be in circulation. The one who said, we need to withdraw the money in circulation. The one in circulation is too much, and so that's what is causing corruption. And so I want to become EFCC now and bring it back. I was listening to an expert over the weekend, and my eyes was opening. This expert says he lived in Kenya and that all the countries, India had done the same thing. And they even had to print a higher denomination for their people. Wait now. And that they even had to print a higher denomination for their people. But what he sees here is that the CBN governor is an almighty alpha. He cannot do mistakes. He did a policy that it will be anti-economic in any country in the world. And he, as the CBN governor, and I started looking into the profile of the CBN governor. Maybe he studied economics. I didn't see.
What did he study?
I think he studied banking and finance. I'm going to check it again. No, I'm just saying.
Yes, it's
because we had Soludo, who was a professor of economics. We had Sanusi. When your turn come, only you say that businesses should shut down. You made it possible for somebody to work inside Lagos, a core market, on a weekday and be able to work. In the past, you cannot work there even on a Thursday when there's a very bad time.
Businesses are shut down.
Businesses are shut down. Now you can now stroll. You can quickly spot the street you are looking for.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines and get messages from Nigerians, because today many people are still scared of spending the old cash. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this pronouncement by the Supreme Court. And we're just discussing our own different stories. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. Over the weekend, my mother-in-law went to church and she wanted to give offerings. So she gave the old Naira notes.
She's living her own world.
No, she's
I mean,
not
she
now. She's very
just feels that
Supreme Court has ruled now.
That was what she was saying. That Supreme Court has, so somebody now, after they were now called back because they saw her put it in. So the usher saw her, then but did not go to her. Came back to tell me, the mommy gave the old note. I told her,
So what are you supposed to do?
I said, why would you give the old note? I said, that's what I have now.
Exactly.
Supreme Court judgment has said,
But the church should take it to
and
the
I'll
bank.
take it back and I'll give her the new note. But it's because we don't know yet. And this is the confusion out there. People don't even know. Mama Brown wants to spend money. She came to come and pick up her clothes the other day. She gave Kokeji the old note. I cannot take it. So we are still confused. That's why we need CBN and the Buhari president to come out and say, okay, yes, the Supreme Court judgment has it stands, and we are all going to adhere to it. That's all Nigerians are waiting, because I trust these banks. Even with Supreme Court judgment, until they hear from their regulator, they won't do anything.
And that's why it's important that the CBN governor says something about this. Because I don't understand the reason for the silence. Is it going to consult before coming out to make a statement? Or what exactly are they waiting for? I think we should still keep talking about this, keep calling experts to give their own opinion on this. I don't know if the civil society should start shouting about this right now, because it's time that the CBN governor says, at least just say something. Let's know if you want to obey or you don't want to obey, so that Nigerians can move ahead. The network, the banking network, we still have issues. Money is still hanging. I sent lesson fee to my children's teachers. I sent double.
Yes, now.
Yes, no, that
Thank
happened.
God that they were honest enough to tell me and they sent it back. I'm sure some other people would have collected the money, and I don't know where money is going out from.
I mean,
That one, did you hear the recent one that opened over the weekend? This popular payment solution point, 2.9 billion.
Yeah, float away.
Yes. Let me hold you for a second. Yakub has been holding for a minute. Good morning, Yakub. Thanks for calling this morning.
I agree with that.
Yeah, good morning, Mariah. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
My first time have opportunity join after Ashwad Bola won the election. Now, I want to use this opportunity to give glory to God and my Allah, and to congratulate him as well. Truly, 8.something million schools has been renewed for. And then I hope this time around, our hope is not going to be dashed. So, now, come to a little issue. I had all these said that if you come out to say, maybe whether to obey the court or not to obey the rule. I think this time around, it has no option. It has no any option, because the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. You have to obey that court order, and then the court judgment that takes to be. Imagine, even if you redeem the image, I need also redeem the image of people that die, all because they don't have access to cash. They pay their hospital bill, and then in that case they die, and then they have already gone. Everything has a lot of people answer. Apart from that, if public president should not allow Emefiele to take it, don't allow Emefiele to run away. Because it has a lot of pressure to have in the court, because you know, Mr. President, I will still have support. I personally can favor of Mr. President in person of President Muhammadu Buhari. This time around, I also put myself Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then I believe, and then I trust Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to do the needful. The public president already said that he's against this very particular thing. And then what can he just come and then we did one thing and then let people have access to their cash? It is.
Thank you very much, Yakub. Yes, Mary, we're going to say something.
Yes. So for me, you know, I've mentioned this before. What happens when there's a Supreme Court judgment or order and we have just silence from the executive? I feel like we have a loophole there where we now keep Nigerians suspended. Nobody knows where to go. And I would like to see our National Assembly, you know, come up with policies that can cover this going forward, because we always have situations like this, especially being Nigerians. We always find ways. I just need, it's important for Nigerians to know, let's say after a court order has been given and we don't get the proper response from our executive, what can be done by by the National Assembly in 24 hours, in 48 hours. What should Nigerians do? Because it just seems like we have a government or a government that's not listening or a silent government, and it does not make sense, especially when it has to do with something that affects the whole country as a whole, affects the livelihood of people, affects their businesses. It makes no sense that there should be silence, no matter how short the time is.
So that's why there has to be a bigger ideology. You know how Americans have the Uncle Sam? He kind of holds them in check. It has to be somebody that says, this is who we are, and somebody must be willing to build a system. And how do you build a system? You obey the rule of law. You build a system by saying, allowing the system to be bigger than you, allowing the system to supersede your personal opinions and thoughts. So that's why we need, the only way we can move forward is when leadership shows example of these kinds of...
we're not asking for perfection on the part of our appointees, because the CBN governor, whether he likes it or not, now we appoint him, is an appointee of Nigeria. And so he's supposed to be serving me, including other Nigerians. But we're not asking for perfection. We're not saying that you cannot make mistakes, you're infallible. We're saying that when you do, and you see the effects of something.
Humble pie.
It's the humble pie. You've seen the effect of it. You've seen how it has affected businesses. You mopped up money out of circulation. Some businesses, not some, crumbled. A lot of businesses crumbled. You saw the inflation figures. Basically, they were going up higher and higher. That's why I say he's not an economist. Let me take his profile.
Buhari apologized.
Let me take his
Our president apologized to he still apologized.
Yeah,
but the point, at least,
managed. Emefiele attended Ansarudin Primary School and Maryland Comprehensive Secondary School in Lagos.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
Ansarudin?
Yes, before proceeding to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, for his tertiary education.
Is he a Muslim?
No. Ansarudin was a public school.
Nice.
I like that.
You obtained a bachelor's degree in banking and finance, finishing on top of one of the top students in his class in 1984. And then after NYSC, he has a master's degree in finance. He also is an alumnus of the executive education at Stanford University, Harvard, Wharton School of Business. He's a business capitalist.
Stop breaking the table.
No, that's the end. No, you are finished. You are finished. Honorary degrees with the rest.
Nothing. You have to upgrade.
Nothing
Your point
in
is that he's not in
economics
economics.
that he would understand how.
Saka has been holding.
But he has these qualifications.
Let me take Saka. Good morning, Saka. Are you
To be
there?
a bank MD.
You're live.
Good morning, ladies.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
Morning, sir.
Katsina. Good morning from Katsina.
From Katsina. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to thank you, beautiful ladies, for your honesty,
Thank
for
you.
your sincerity. We are grateful to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please, on this issue, you know Nigeria. You think it's not the fault of Emefiele, it's the fault of we Nigerians. Emefiele is now the president, in court. After a court has said something, since Friday, come and see the banking. Because I was taking my children to the school this morning. You will wait for people. People are confused.
Wow.
People are still confused. Let him come out, tell us, I'm obeying Supreme Court. I'm not obeying Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is more than anybody. They have said it in their judgment. But what is happening? The presidency too has not said anything. Malami has not said anything. He's definitely more powerful than 200 million Nigerians. People are dying. People are crying. People are suffering. Please, you ladies, call him out. Call him out.
That's what we're doing, sir. That's what we're doing, sir.
Yes, so we're calling
So the CBN governor is in tandem with the president. They are working together.
Get that. One at the same.
One at the same. You cannot say it's the CBN governor's fault. He has a strong backing from the president. And so we are calling out the president to say that your people are suffering. If there's any iota of fatherhood that is still left in you,
Empathy.
you need empathy. You need to listen to your people. Your people are suffering. Your people businesses are crumbling. We already have issues where the government, as much as possible, is not even supporting a lot, especially the MSMEs, not supporting a lot of them to stand. People are struggling to do something so that they are not idle to hold that thing down. And now it is crumbling. People are going back to beg for food. I went to Alagbado yesterday for Sunday service, and some of my younger friends in the area came to see me, saying they were hopeful that I would give them cash. This year we have missed you. We can't come and see you. We don't have transport fare. I've not been able to sell my clothes. I've not been able to sell. I felt so bad. So the little one I had to share. I think it's 2,000. You know, just for people to be okay. These are people who are hustlers.
There are girls that are not into prostitution. They are selling, they are making hair, they are doing everything possible. Some of them have children already and they have deadbeat dads. And so they are hustling to keep their lives moving. And then this cash now is, and I know, without any doubt in my mind, that most of this, like,
The president will not say now that he needs cash. He will definitely have cash. The governor of the CBN will not say he needs cash. We don't have the same problem. So please, sir, we are begging you. If you love Nigerians, you still have small love for us. Answer us. Tell us what is happening. Exactly. When I don't burn the money finish, tell us, say we don't burn our money. The old notes. We don't burn our money. We are trying to do something to maybe print more old notes and send back to circulation.
We're on different levels. And the level where I'm coming from is the fact that we need to see this as an opportunity to uphold the rule of law again. You've been seen in the recent times to be disobeying the rule of law. Please use this opportunity to at least let Nigerians, because I remember when I went to the UK when I went to a store and the lady refused to collect my cash because they had changed the notes. And she said she can't take these old notes. I said, that's what I have. She said, sorry, we can't take it. So I went, I was really upset. I went out. The guy told me what happened, asked me. He said, you can go back. And now he was telling me the law. That you are entitled to use that note. Go back there and demand. Tell her this. And I went back there, and they looked up. She didn't answer me. She called her manager. I spoke to her manager, and the manager allowed me to pay. Because when the people know the law, they are able to uphold it and then use it. That's the same thing here. The Supreme Court has spoken. And we people can be able to enter the bank this morning and tell the teller, the Supreme Court said, you have to give me note and collect this note for me. I think that's something we should be able to do.
And that's
get to that level.
You know, that's the problem. You can know the law and then go into the bank and insist that you're... But here we have the poor bankers who are now caught in a dilemma. Should we listen to this customer that we know this is the customer's right? Is the customer's hard-earned... Do you know this conversation is so funny? Because it's your hard-earned money that you're being refused. So the customer's hard-earned money. And then you know that if you don't, you have a CBN that one day will put you on TV and say that you're the one not doing what you're meant to do and cause problems.
Let me put you on hold for a second. So I have a call from Professor from Owerri. Professor Laz, I'm sorry, I have to take this call. Good morning, sir. Are you there? I'll come back to you.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live from Enugu. Thanks for calling us.
Yeah, I want to thank you for this bringing up this discussion on Supreme Court directive. Okay, thank you. I want to thank you for bringing up this issue of Supreme Court judgment. And I want to tell you on this program, along the passion you ladies in your discussion, and this is the first time I'm calling you.
Thank you.
Concerning this issue, I think we are calling out the wrong person. The CBN is not supposed to be the right people to know. We should be calling on the president, President Muhammadu Buhari. CBN was not taken to court. CBN was not a party to this matter. The lawyer in the House will help us come here. It was the federal government that was taking the case. And the judgment was given against the federal government and not CBN. So I think we need to redirect our energy towards the president so that the president can direct and not the CBN. As I speak, this thing made me pass everybody. I know there's shit from my pocket, maybe cash. It will pay me well. But the truth is that it is the federal government that we should be directing our energy towards and not to the CBN.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Laz. Want to finish up your point, Mariam, before we went to the...
Yes, I was just saying that we had the bankers and banks, that were in such a precarious situation a few weeks back because they had gone into the banks and they said that they were holding on to cash, even though this was cash that they said they are holding on because there's a limited amount you have asked them to give to customers. I just want to say that we know the law personally, but there are just different levels to it. So who is going to apply it and who's not going to apply it? Who would end up paying? Who will end up serving the punishment for lack of, for implementation or enforcement? I'm going back to my other point, which is what do we do in the interim?
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So to enlighten us more on this conversation is Barrister Wale Ogunade. He's going to be sharing more thoughts on the Supreme Court's ruling. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, ma. How are you, ma?
Very well. So Nigerians are quite concerned because this government many times have disobeyed the Supreme Court's ruling on various occasions. And they're worried that this most recent one, when Nigerians are hoping that the pronouncement of the Supreme Court judgment will be adhered across all banks and the economy, many people are worried that it might not be. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think, how do you think this will play out in your own view?
Well, in my own view, the Supreme Court judgment is not a ruling, it's a judgment. And to me, the judgment is just a soft landing to the government, both the government of the central bank and the federal government. Because generally, the court stated it that the CBN has no power over the money. It is your money. The CBN and the banks are just trustees. Yes. And the CBN Act, particularly Section 20, is clear that the people deposit their money and the bank will be obliged to release the money to them whenever they demand for it. Once everything is complete in terms of maybe your signatures and in compliance with your mandate. And much as that is the various steps taken for the Naira swap was not really done appropriately. And with that, we know that indeed the policy itself was done in a hush-hush way against a particular candidate because they don't want that candidate to come up or even the politicians to spend money. Yes, the elections have now come and they have gone. And with the election coming and going, I don't see anything disturbing both the federal government and CBN now either, of course, obeying the court order in terms of releasing both the old notes and printing more money to be in circulation. Except maybe Emefiele has an ulterior motive. One would expect by now the banks will start rolling out the money. I have been told on the grapevine that the old notes have been burnt. But I know not all have been burnt because as of last week or upper week, I ran into some little cash a client brought to me, and I had to take it to the bank. And I know, and when I went to the bank too, I saw some people who brought their old notes there, and it means that there are still some old notes in the bank fold, which we should release out. The bank, that the central bank and federal government have no business disobeying this order because it goes to the roots of our foundation. People suffer because we need money. We are no more in the barter system where people trade by barter. What we need and what we use is money, either old or new. The Supreme Court is the highest court on the land. It has made its judgment, and its judgment must be followed without any reservation. And of course, they cannot sit in judgment. What Buhari did the last time on February 10th was to sit in judgment over the judgment of the Supreme Court. And I like the way the Supreme Court came heavily on him, that he should not assume the role of a dictator. They have submitted themselves to the jurisdiction of the court, and the court have ruled. All they can do is to now do an appeal even to the Supreme Court,
right.
Not to now take the laws into their hands.
Exactly. All right, let me get a few questions, maybe.
Okay, sir. What would you advise Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians who still have some of these old notes to do? Do you advise us to insist on spending the money? And the shop owners or the market women, do you insist that they will take this money? Should we just go ahead and start using the ones we have in circulation already, or still wait till we hear from the CBN governor or the president?
Fairness, the court has made an order. And the order is that the old note ceases to be a legal tender December 31st, 2023. And that is the law. And there's nobody that can alter it, not the governor of the central bank, not the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The appropriate authority to make that law and order is the Supreme Court.
That is what section 1, section 1, subsection 3 says. It gives all persons and authority must obey the dictates of the Constitution. And the authority to make each such order is the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has so ruled. Subject to an appeal, that order made on the 28th of February stands. And that order, by virtue of that judgment, is that all legal tender continues. And where am I going? It's not an issue of auction. It's an order. Unfortunately, I don't have an old note. What a legal tender is a document or a money you use. Take to a market, you give to somebody, the person takes it. He has no power to reject. That is the position of the law. So nobody has the power to reject. You are given an old note, you take it. You are given a new note, you take it. Because it's legal tender.
Okay.
Ordered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. That's the highest court in the land. Anybody, in fact, anyone who wants to do anything contrary is to be held in contempt. You can call a policeman to arrest the person who is refusing to take the money.
Wow. All right.
Yes, my own is, my question is, we hear you legally. No one has the right to reject. Yes. It's still legal tender. But then this is Nigeria. We know how things work. I would like to know what the legal step should be, you know, for a Nigerian right now. And for a banker specifically, for a bank specifically, what would be the legal stance that it can take to sort of protect them from any backlash or punishment that may come, because they still haven't heard from their regulator, the CBN, and they haven't heard from the federal government. But they do have customers, and they have to respond to their customers and provide their services. What can a bank do at this time?
Well, to me, my advice to Emefiele is to take the humble pie. Yeah, this policy has gone crashed, has crashed on its face. And the central bank has given it a soft landing. I expect that he will take that advantage and quickly do the needful by doing, one will expect that by now that they have done a memo to all the banks that they should take the old notes and release all the old notes, and even by extension, that memo will now start to the general public that the old notes still serve as legal tender to December 31st, 2023. But be that as it may, my own is that as a lawyer, I follow the law. And the law now is that legal tender, those old notes are still legal tender. If unfortunately, I don't have it, but I'm proof for it, to deliberately send to even cause wahala, so that I will trigger the law. And where am I going is that I will send it, go somewhere and spend, and somebody should reject it. The bank will be out of this. If you have the old note in your hand, go anywhere and sell and use it to buy and to sell. It's as simple as that. And if anybody wants to reject it, you have the right to call a policeman that this man is disobeying the order of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Simple, shikenan, no wahala.
Okay, so let's talk about the initial interim order that was given and what the president did.
Exactly.
So that should prepare us. You know, he obeyed it conditionally. You know, so was even that, was it okay so that we can use to suggest what we do forward?
Yes, I'm sure you are in the news and you knew that we members of the legal community descended on the president heavily. What the president did was, we call it self-help, or taking the laws into his hands. Because he's the president of the Federation, does not mean he can take laws into his hands. Nobody is about the law. Since the time of Fela Nicola Poputi, the principle and the doctrine of people's infallibility have been erased. And of course, it can never come back again. The principle there was that the king's God can do no wrong. But here we know that Buhari has done wrong by going to seek on appeal against the judgment of the Supreme Court. And that's why the court now descended on him heavily that he's not a dictator. We are no more in a military era. We are in a civilian era. And there are rules and regulations, there are power ascribed to people. And the central bank has a role to play. He, as the president, has a role to play. And of course, for your information, there are three arms of government: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. The judiciary, the executive, both arms and all across the parties brought the case to the judiciary, which is an arm of government who has jurisdiction over the matter. And the Supreme Court has adjudicated on the matter, one way or the other. The other option left for Buhari and the federal government was for them to appeal, maybe through Malami. Not that they will not say, hey, they are mad, they are stupid, and they now went and did the wrong thing. What Buhari did was wrong, and of course, I'm happy that he was called to, he was he was popped down upon by the Supreme Court. And that's just it. So that's picking and choosing. We want to put an end to picking and choosing by government officers. The law is the law. If you still agree, because that's what the Justice Shaw said in the case of Chief Kojuku and Lagos State government, where Lagos State government was picking and choosing judgment to obey. It is not. Nobody is above the law. The law is made for everyone, both the rich and the poor, government and the governed. So the law is that the old Naira note stands until December 31st, 2023. And that's the law.
All right. Finally, do you think Governor Emefiele should step down or should he be sacked?
No, let him wait till let him wait. Shetina is a monarchy. Let him wait. He shouldn't leave the place.
Is that sarcasm?
Yes. Okay. Let him wait.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Barrister Wale Ogwade will be speaking with him, sharing his thoughts on this Supreme Court judgment. All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll try to bring in another guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be having a guest very, very shortly, but I'm told that we have a caller to contribute to this conversation. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Okay, we lost the caller. Okay, so we're going to let's take a few comments on social media. Yes, go ahead.
Someone says, please help me remind, Ade Baptist says, help me remind their businesses with perishable goods like eggs are suffering. If customers don't bring Naira to buy or there is scarcity of Naira, the whole stock is lost. There are no insurance packages for these kinds of losses. The impact on business is beyond imagination. And I remember a video showing poultry where eggs had been harvested. During this lockdown. The guy was just, was devastated. Yeah. He was distraught. What's the word to show? As beyond, I'm telling you. And he was showing what he had harvested and how buyers could not come because, they buy with cash. And that week for them to adjust. And eggs, 2 weeks,
Also farmers, now I mentioned it here.
And just to re-emphasize my economist, Kini, would have known that small businesses like this, perishable businesses would be affected because the switch would have given them time to get
easy for us to talk because we are here in Lagos. But there are people, because Mama Brown and Mama couldn't go back to Ekiti because they were afraid of how will I do cashless. Start going to, they didn't even know they didn't want to face the reality that when I get back home, I won't have to, I don't have to exchange this new notes. So they just stayed here in Lagos where they know that they are covered. But now with this whole thing, they are hoping that in the next few weeks, they can start planning to go to Ekiti to visit.
That our leadership can be quite clueless of what the realities of Nigerians can be. So we were looking for people who understand our real grassroots issues.
Yes.
You sit in a nice fancy office and you think that is Nigeria. Yes. Anyway, we have more tweets. We have Funam here who says the presidential election is over now. Some Nigerians are now saying, wait till after the governorship election, the new Naira notes will be available. Again, I ask, what if the scarcity of the new Naira notes persists?
Let me pause you for a second. Let me take Anthony's holding. Anthony from Ikeja. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this topic up. I listened to the lawyer who talked to you. He spoke facts. But what I'm trying to think is this. We are not. They are telling us we are not in democracy. What we are witnessing now is a kind of militocracy, where you don't obey the judgment of the Supreme Court. That is, you are calling for anarchy. And the consequences could be unintended, terrible. Because as I speak to you now, Nigerians, both civilians and military men, they are suffering. And anything can happen. We don't pray for the other side. You know what I mean? In Ghana, they did this, and the old and the new correcting ran side by side until they concluded the exercise. I don't know what is wrong with this man. I don't exactly know. Because if you look at the act of central bank, a person from a commercial bank, It's not supposed to be the governor of central bank. That is the intention of the act, setting up the central bank. You don't bring a commercial bank MD to come and help central bank. But there have been some breaches of interest. And we don't regret, like Tani came from central bank, and he did well before he was removed. But what Emefiele is doing now, I think he will face some charges even after leaving there. It's too late to remove him or sack him, but he needs to face some very harsh consequences from Nigeria. So he's not alone. In fact, with the president.
It's true.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Yes.
Any more comments?
Let me take it. It says the CBN governor, bigger than the law, that up to now he deliberately has kept mute till now without giving his voice in the bank's direction on the delivered judgment.
Emmanuel says, let's tarry a while, considering that the policy came with the nod of Mr. President, who is out of the country at the moment.
Yes.
Antecedent, the CBN governor prefers to brief the president in person. I'm sure that the president will do the needful for CBN to issue circular.
Are we in 1903?
No, so he cannot.
Can we send a message? Can we make a call?
He cannot send a message.
Let's talk about the numbers of businesses crippled, because, we're talking small businesses, and it seems like, do you know that banking business, as you used to be, is no longer what it is now?
Before.
Some banks will tell you, I can allow you come in for your e-banking, but I don't want people outside to say I'm giving money.
Cash,
and so they shut down. When you drive through the Badagry Expressway, I know several banks that, it was a given. You'll just be seeing crowd. The people waiting outside are now begging the banks. They're not open. You'll be saying they're not open. You get to a bank, you have to travel another one. Even zonal branches were locking down. They were doing 2 days every week. Bankers no longer wear their fine suits to go to work. Who won that? Everybody's wearing disguised clothes now to work. Did you think of these effects? Because you now, when you responded, carry camera to their faces and say they were the ones who were not giving cash. He didn't address the limits. He didn't address the insufficiency of the printed notes. This same CBN governor, this Emefiele, he did not address the insufficiency of that note. It put people's lives at risk. We saw banks burnt Ibadan, Ekiti. We saw banks burning down across the country. He didn't respond. This person, he should not wait for his term to complete. Sanusi did not do up to this one when they advised him to go.
Let me take this call from Tayo, calling from Iyano Paja. Good morning, Tayo. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live.
Everybody, good morning.
Good morning.
Sir.
Yeah. Thanks for educating us every day on this, your program. Concerning this Naira note, I want to say that what the CBN governor has done is a crime against humanity.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's a crime against humanity.
True.
Imagine my 76-year-old mom went to bank in Oshobo after queuing for hours.
Look at that.
She was given 2,000 naira.
Hey, look at that.
And she had in that account, and my dad, what they had in the bank together was about 5 million. And they were only able to get 2,000 naira. So it's a crime against humanity. Now, about this election, whatever, before the president will speak, I can bet you to anybody, if you care to look at it, because they still want to hold it for the governorship election. So that, well, they don't want it to be monetized. But whether we like it or not, we never had so much money in circulation.
Oh, we lost Tayo. I remember that Professor Wole Soyinka was telling us many years ago when Buhari wanted to be president that the issue he had with President Muhammadu Buhari at the time was like he's not very strong on the economy. And he's worried about the people around him. And this is what we are seeing right now because obviously he's been ill-advised concerning this policy. And unfortunately, instead of them to take this humble pie and accept, although Buhari apologized to Kaduna, but we would have loved the moment that Supreme Court order came out. Immediately after, there should have been a press briefing. And that's the disconnect that our presidents that we have with this administration. The fact that you're not constantly talking to us, letting us know that indeed we are at top of mind. Nigerians are top of mind for the president.
There's a story in my place of the king, Ezonya Gwanam. Ezonya Gwanam means the king who can do no wrong, who you could not advise. And he was kicked out and embarrassed publicly at the end of the day. As a leader, you must listen. As a leader, you must look back. There's what they call reflection, self-reflection, review. You must look back. What I've done, how far has it come? How far has it impacted? Did it give the same effect that I wanted it to? A leader must have intention in everything that you set out to do. So the people are crying because the policies I have made is not working for them. How do I redress this? How do I change it? Nobody needs to be chasing you to change the mistakes that you have made. This is obviously a mistake from all ramifications. And the fact that you are still strong-headed, you are not doing anything about it, just tells me who you are, even in your home. Nobody can correct you.
You know, our president has an economic team.
Yeah.
Obviously, that team was never
carried along. They're not carried along.
Has no idea what is happening.
And I'm immune from this whole thing.
And I'm so happy because in the beginning it was like, how can you say you didn't know anything about it? But you know what I've seen in handling of this issue is that we have been scapegoating different people. We have scapegoated the banks. What would have happened is that they would have scapegoated the Minister for Finance. Being a woman, I know people don't like that, but it's so easy to look for the woman and put all the blame on her. Right. So I hope that the president, when he finally comes, I hope the call will go through. If he's so far away, answer.
Let me take this call, Miriam. I have Olabisi from Ejigbo. Good morning, Olabisi. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I so much love your program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't miss it every day. I want to make my contribution concerning this Naira policy. Well, to me, it's a good policy, but the implementation is the wrong thing. The implementation is so wrong. The timing is so wrong. We Nigerian love it. It's what is practiced in all over the Western countries. But the way it was implemented in Nigeria was wrong. That is one. Two, concerning the Supreme judgment, it's a welcome idea. But I want to beg us, Nigerians, when the Supreme Court gives a judgment, we should not expect central bank to immediately go ahead and do. Central bank has the legal department of the CBN. They also need to sit down together with the management.
I disagree with Mr. Olabisi. I disagree with Mr. Olabisi because we're talking of human lives here and we're talking about livelihood. And when you're saying the longer you do not respond to this, you are continually and allowing Nigerians or punishing Nigerians for this policy. And the reason why everyone says, oh, I like this policy, but I don't like how it's implemented, because it doesn't have a human face. So that's why, even though it's nice on paper, we have not considered the human beings that this would affect. And that's why we're complaining right now. And then to say, on top of all this, we have a Supreme Court, finally, who's given a judgment that has put the human face to this. And we're saying, let's wait again. What happens to the perishable goods on the farms? What happens to the eggs that we're talking about? What happens to the people that have been walking to work back and forth because they don't have cash to pay for transportation? Should they just keep punishing themselves and keep going through this because we're waiting for a process of CBN to go back?
But do you know that we don't even need
part of the conversation from the beginning?
The fact that we're even waiting is a bad thing. Because we, the people, should know already that Friday, time to spend. We don't have to, because the fact that we're even waiting for it, okay, they said we should go ahead, but we have to wait. So the fact that even with the people,
we're even waiting for.
We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be waiting at all.
No, what's the time? So if they say give us 2 days to sort this out, to get back to you, that's different. There's a time frame. I know it's still not okay based on what we're going through, but then you've heard something, and then there's hope that after the 2 days, a miracle will happen. But how long do we wait?
Because no one never about it in the beginning.
Before, never about it. Let me take Anthony.
Not tell the vice president to take over.
Not today, not many. Let me take Anthony from Ikorodu. Good morning, Anthony.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Yeah, it has always been one to listen to all of you. But it's quite unfortunate we find ourselves in this situation. This policy is not good at all. It's not good at all. And ordinarily, I know for sure, for this kind of policy, the modality CBN is adopting to apply it shouldn't have even been. It's obvious, personal objective is attached to it, and that's why it's causing hardship to all of us all. Like you have all been saying, I just pray, or if there is anything one can really do to call either the Mr. President or the CBN governor to order, So that
Pray again.
I have to.
I'm tired of this.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
I'm tired of this prayer. So I expect that the National Assembly, who are supposed to be the lawmakers right now, should be banging the table and screaming. Heads must roll. Where is the president? You have to come and answer to us. Where is the CBN governor? You have to come and answer. But they are still silent. And I know in their minds, they've said they've done what they need to do. It's gone to the Supreme Court. But you don't end it there. When a court order has been given and nobody's making any moves to respect it, the National Assembly, the Houses of Assembly should be banging the table right now and heads should be rolling.
I think
government shows us that you people have the interest of Nigerians at heart. But everybody's silent, so to speak.
No, the speaker.
Governors are also very busy campaigning right now. You know, usually like El-Rufai would have come to the people, please, in the market, use the old notes. But right now, everybody is working on their own campaign for Saturday. That they're not even thinking of Nigerians right now.
No, they want to force governors to do what they did in Kaduna, where governors was not saying, you spend your money.
So also,
people don't even have the old notes.
Also for information, I know that the speaker, it says that the speaker has spoken on
this matter,
on the order that was given by the Supreme Court, and he also says that he hails the governors of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara State for challenging the federal government and the CBN for this. So they have spoken. But you know, I've been asking the question almost of everyone. So what happens? I saw a tweet here, sorry, I've lost it, but he's saying that now is the time for people to do the next step, which is we go out and we spend our money.
The local, the old notes.
We won't collect it.
No, we will collect it. So that's what we're saying. We give the money to the market person will collect it. The farmer will collect it. The banks will collect it. All those people, we will go ahead and spend the money and listen to the Supreme Court. And the government has nothing else. It will have not any other option but to comply with Nigerians.
Let me even say my personal experience on Sunday. I had to take my husband to the hospital and I wanted to buy gum. And I paid with the old note because I discovered one old note somewhere in my pocket. And I paid with it.
The trouser.
And the malam I bought from just simply separated his new note and paid me change in old notes as well. So these things are now happening.
Yes.
We'll give me, I give you. We'll exchange it. So
let's take a few more comments on social media, and then we wrap up very soon.
Antnam says, Emefiele's tenure shouldn't have been renewed.
Well, one second, let me take this call. Good morning. Hello, you there? I'm so sorry I lost that call.
Sorry. So Antnam says, Emefiele's tenure shouldn't have been renewed. He's the worst CBN governor in history.
Have any more?
Okay, I am Oluwaseun says, I was number 329. I'm broken as I am like this. Bank has shut down payment. It's only those who have issues with ATM cards or transfers that you will see. Which way like this? This is crime against humanity. Oyetunji Oseni says, what is confusing me here is, if I may, isn't CBN an independent body? Why have the judges in the Apex Court failed to consult with the Apex Bank before they are rolling through? Let justice in Apex Court not leave Nigeria in confusion, knowing what and how to do what.
Let me take Owolabi. So Owolabi from Egbeda, I'll come back to you. Good morning, Owolabi, are you there?
hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, because now what is really happening now is really affecting many businesses, affecting many families. Now, I will have to like call out UBA. Now they are deducting money from my account. Going there, they are telling me they're not open. I have to be at Pattaya Atere, that you be at Pattaya Atere, all through on Friday. And I discovered that their staff are following security signs coming out. I said, no, I didn't make any transaction, and you are deducting 100K. The money that I was supposed to use to deposit a tax for someone, up to now, the money hasn't been reversed.
Yeah, man, that's the average experience.
So many of us. You can't even go to the bank to report what he's going through. The banks are not opening.
So I am Oluwaseun is a Nigerian saying, see, our leaders are so clueless about what is going on. I left my home after 6 a.m. today to queue at a bank. I was number 190, only for the security guy to come address us after I had waited for more than an hour. He made it clear that there's no cash. I was devastated. I then went to another bank where he is number 329. He's broke, and like he says, I'm broke like this. Bank has shut down payment. It's only those who have issues with ATM cards or transfers that they will see. Which way like this? This is crime against humanity.
Festus Akiboyewa says, can't the federal government bring in, I can't see the federal government bringing all 500 and 1,000 back to circulation because the PMB is fixated on fighting corruption. Sad that PMB isn't doing enough to see that innocent Nigerians and businesses are dying welcome to our third APC recession if this chaos is not arrested. And that's the reality. That's where we are headed now.
Now that we're hearing reports that they've burnt some, I don't know how much of them
happening. So you would see a foresighted CBN governor, foresighted economic team saying this is where we are headed, Mr. President. Because all of us know that Mr. President never showed us a degree. And neither did he tell us he was an economist. He will not see these things. So it's based on the advisory team. These people that are advising, please, for God's sake, we are begging you people. Advise well. We are going there now. Not when we reach there, finish now, you'll not be saying, you know, there's energy crisis around the world. COVID happened, but we brought this one on top of ourselves. That's the honest truth. We could have said, oh, we have not changed our Naira, we've not redesigned our Naira, but we see that this is not the best time for it. Now that we are doing election, we want to do census, we want to change, waiting, all of it at once on our people. Please, help our people.
All right, let me take this call from Kunle from Ibadan.
Hey.
Kunle, are you there? You're live.
Yes, I'm there. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well done, sir. Well done, man. For the good work you are doing, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Please, man. I want you to take note of what I wanted to say, man. And it is very important to, please, man. See, my fear now, man, is our new elected president going to the Ado Villa. That is I always afraid of that environment, man. That Ado Villa, I've known long time ago, it's not an ideal place for a policy that will be, where the policies of government will be running over this country. Never and never, no any good thing will come out of that place. If that place should remain as a place where the policies of government will be coming out, no any government will succeed in that environment. I'm telling you, man. Go and take note of this thing.
It is well.
So he's saying that the Aso Rock in itself is somewhat possessed. There's a spirit that is stopping good policies. Yolu.
Let Ashiwaju not go to that Aso Rock. There's a spirit there that used to make them disconnected from the people. Once you enter, the spirit will just possess the person. Jesus. I said, Yolu.
I've actually heard that narrative. It's not right. It's not
true. I don't
it's not. You can't prove that. Yeah, you can't substantiate it anyway. So
you can't prove anything, but substantiating is another business. This is what we are using to substantiate.
You can't substantiate the fact that. But there's always been that myth that Aso Rock is possessed with spirits.
From experience.
That Aso Rock has a lot of demonic influences. We've heard that in the past.
From experience.
But we are trusting.
Yes.
That the First Lady, who is a spirit-filled redeemer, will scabash and subdue.
I see what you do.
We'll see. I mean, we'll be able to subdue all the demonic influence over that rock. That's our hope.
Okay, there's no demonic influence. I just feel that.
I'm just saying now that just in case.
There isn't. Our problem has always been that we do not just follow.
We hand over the problem to somebody else.
Yes,
it's the demons.
There are no demons. They are just people that need to pay attention to Nigerians. Don't get distracted by the politics. Don't get distracted by the cabals. Don't get distracted from anything that does not reflect what Nigerians are going through. If anyone gets there and can just keep their head on straight and focus on only the things that matter, we will not talk about demonic influences.
And if demon not allow you to keep your head straight.
Thank you. Let me say this.
Yes.
There are foreigners who come to our land to get jobs, and before they move into office, they bring their people for prayers and cleansing, feng shui, and all that. Most of these offices in VI that's handled by Indians. They bring their people to do all of that. So the president's wife as well, elect, can bring his prayer warrior, her prayer warriors to come and, cleanse and pray and sanctify and all that.
No, it
it's also okay to do that because the spiritual controls the physical.
Remember the war room.
These things that we do, like
remember the war room.
Okay,
there has to be a war room.
There's nothing wrong in going into a place and sanctifying it or praying over it, but it's not because we have some
demons.
Okay, so we're advising that there should be a war room in Aso Rock, where we are Skabashi, where demons know. There has to be a gatekeeper for Aso Rock.
We have a vice president who is a redeemer, a pastor in redeem. So I don't even understand this conversation.
Oh, that's true.
There's a church in that place. Forget this. And we've had others who are Muslim. Our president is also a staunch Muslim. We don't have that kind of issue here.
We're only speculating now. Let's enjoy the conversation. Let's enjoy the conversation.
No,
This
we're
is
not
very
spiritual.
This caller was not joking.
Are we not Nigerians?
Because it's a serious
Please,
thing.
there's a spirit side and there's a physical side. Please, let us not discountenance.
Something controls.
Energy and
No, something controls the spirits.
The spirit's realm controls the physical.
Which does not mean that African spirit is always negative. The spirit affects everywhere.
Of course.
But in Africa, our
Hey, that's
spirit
why- are
towards
you
our
Indians
prosperity.
now?
See
I
that
use
also
Indians
okay.
now,
I
for
think
example.
power corrupts.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's all.
When you enter inside, power, you see power.
Power and a spirit.
You see power.
I have a call from Mushi. Let me just
That
take
was
Kane.
so I'm above.
Our final caller this morning, please. Hope they're not discussing spiritual matters. Good morning, Kane. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
I'm here.
You're live.
Laughing.
Good morning. It's nice to be with you guys today.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Well, I've tried severally.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
See, there's something that has always bothered me about the issue in our country. I see Nigeria, we are not part of the world. God created us specially. So when we are seeing international best practice, it gets to me that, no, we shouldn't follow. We are Nigerians and others. We are specially built. God created us specially. We should see ourselves the way God sees us. Until we do that, nothing will work very well for us. People can come from outside the country and we'll raise them above ourselves. We can't see people's policy and say we want to implement it. Have we truly tried ourselves to know who we truly are? This CBN man, Emefiele, or what is it called? He should sit down with himself and find himself first. Before he even try to find the post he's holding.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Kennedy.
Wisdom
Okay.
will not fail you, Kennedy. Wisdom will not fail you.
All right, let's take a few comments and then we wrap up. Any comments?
Mount Rushmore is saying the president has decided to inflict pains on Nigerians at his parting gift. This is his very last opportunity to do so. Fiona says, powers there, especially in third world countries. But if you know who you are, you'll survive.
Toby Martin says,
okay.
I believe there is no demon. We Nigerians believe prayers is the key, but it has not opened any doors in Nigeria. Knowledge and love is the key.
Thank you, Toby
What
Martin.
is it?
Andrew
Thank
says,
you.
What is that? I missed that. What is it? Please
he
repeat
says
it.
that we Nigerians believe that prayer is the key. He says there's no demon.
Oh, okay.
Now we believe that prayer is the key, and the key not the open
Never
door
open door.
for Nigeria. That knowledge and love is the key. Andrew in Streeton says, agreed, Miriam, there are no demonic influence. It's a mindset thing. In 1960, mindset. Okay, it's 1960 mindset versus Nigeria 2050.
We must change our mindset too.
We have to.
Right.
This one
And
says,
those that will tell you stories of how they were facing demons in Aso Rock. We can't verify their stories.
Because they are
But
passing the box to the state. They don't want to add.
They can't verify their stories. But they will say that when- as they enter like this, you just feel one sense of things enters them like this.
Excuse.
And
So
then
that I cannot
that's what
tell
they
that
say.
there's a story that
But
you've
it's
told
wrong.
us.
I'm sure it's untrue. I'm just saying that's what they say. You know, they always say something.
There was a story you've shared with us. I don't know if it was privately, so I don't know. Where a man of God was excited that somebody had
yes.
gotten a political appointment so
Yes.
that he can put some prayers together, curate some
Yes.
prayers,
Yes.
especially for that. We
was
know that
excited.
people have used this as a business gimmick. So please, there are no demons.
of it.
Go and do your best.
I remember. Okay, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much, ladies. I think that's all we can take on today's show. But the real crux of our conversation this morning was about the Naira redesign policy, where the Supreme Court's judgment said it clearly that these old notes should remain legal tenders till the 31st of this year, 2023. Therefore, we expect to begin to spend the money. However, people are a bit reluctant because they are yet to hear from the president or the central bank. So we are hoping that one of them should speak to Nigerians so that people, especially because I can go to the bank, but the problem is that the bank might not respond because they've not heard from their regulator. So it's important that Mr. CBN Emefiele kindly come forward and say something so that your bankers can begin to release some of this money back into the system. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.